drizzly and wet Octagon here in Dunedin City for the start of the 2019 Drive Safe Rally Otago. A big crowd here to see the ceremonial start, where the cars will be going over the start line. They've got autograph signing sessions, probably a little bit damp on the posters today, but it's great to see a good crowd here for what is the start of the New Zealand Rally Championship season. Joining us on the commentary over the weekend is well-known former rally champion Ross Meekings. Ross, welcome back to Otago. It's been a year or two for you.
Good afternoon, Grant, and thank you very much. We didn't expect the rain to come this early, but it might get worse over the weekend. It's going to keep the dust down, which is a good thing, but it might make it more slippery as well. It's going to be interesting, but hey, what an atmosphere right here, right now. This is fantastic. 132 cars in the Octagon, lots of people milling around, great stuff.
And great to have the MoMac team here providing the live coverage over the weekend. Of course, 8 stages on the first day, 7 stages on the final day. It'll be an exciting rally for sure, and a very demanding one for the drivers. And of course, we've jumped a few hoops to get to Otago Rally, and you may have seen today the MoMac team have set up a GoFundMe page to help cover the costs of putting our live streaming out this weekend. So if you're enjoying the coverage, we'd welcome your support and welcome into the live streaming. Also joining us here in the Octagon this afternoon is Peter Whitten. Peter Whitten, you've been coming here for 14 years, Peter.
I think it is, Grant. 14 years, and we've had probably one of the hottest, driest summers in Australia, so to come back here to Otago and Dunedin is a fair change.
Yeah. Of course, we met many years ago when we were back in the publishing game. Of course, you used to publish print magazines. What's in your life now? What are you doing?
Basically, I'm mainly doing the Rally Sport magazine website, so it's rallysportmag.com, covering everything from the WRC right through to Australian New Zealand Championships. So plenty to keep us busy, and with the number of cars here this weekend, it's just fantastic.
And thank you also for sharing our live streaming coverage into Australia as well, and welcome on board with the platform.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I think rallying has got to move with the times and have live streaming like this, and to go back to Australia is fantastic as well. So really hope it goes well this weekend.
Can you tell us about some of the Australian competitors, a popular event, and why is it so popular for your guys to come over and do this event?
Well, I first came here in 2003, and even back then it was a popular event, but since then it's just evolved. I guess the roads are incredible, totally different to what we have in Australia, cresty, fast flowing, and I think that the welcoming atmosphere that we get here in Dunedin from the Otago Sports Car Club is probably second to none that I've seen, and people just want to come back and experience what everybody raves about every year, so I think it'll continue to happen.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us, Peter. We'll talk to you during the weekend. Anyone back in Australia you'd like to say hello to at home?
Oh no, I'll just say if you've ever thought of coming to the Otago Rally, come across. The weather's cold, but the atmosphere is fantastic, and you'll be more than welcome for sure. So yeah, and Brendan Reeves running in the top of the NZRC this weekend, so I think he's a good chance. If the car holds out, I think he'll be very, very fast.
Yeah. So. Tell us a little bit about the situation with rallying in Australia at the moment. How's it looking? Your season starting?
Yeah, our season started last weekend with the Forest Rally in Western Australia. The 2-car factory Toyota team with Harry and Lewis Bates finished first and second, looking really, really strong this year. Molly Taylor in the factory Subaru was also doing exceptionally well, with a few other privateers guys coming along as well. So our championship is certainly not at the level as the New Zealand Championship numbers-wise at the moment, but we're making huge strides forward through CAMS, and I think over the next 2 or 3 years, the profile will really lift again. So things are looking good.
Brilliant. Thanks for joining us once again, Peter.
No worries.
Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, Grant.
Thank you. So there we are, Rally Otago getting underway. Of course, the first cars will be going over the start line officially at 6:15 tonight. Hayden Patton as the top seed and defending a rally winner here in Otago will be the first one to head across the start line. We're just looking around some of the competitors here, and I see we've got young Matt Summerfield here. Matt Summerfield, of course, I guess, Matt, almost a week before this event, you weren't quite sure what car you were going to be in, but you've got an absolute gem this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Very last minute. With unfortunate with O'Brien not being able to be available for the event, we hastily ran around and pulled something together to get in his car and run the Mitsubishi Mirage AP4.
So before the weekend, your first chance to sit in this car was heading up to Auckland last weekend?
Yeah, went into Auckland last weekend and we did a short test up there. Did about 50 kilometres and noticed immediate gains over the car we were running last year. So really encouraging, really enjoyed it, and just a lot of people that that made it happen, the guys at Rally Art and Andrew Sims to get us here, and it's going to be fun.
For the viewers out there, the car that you ran last year, the Mirage, where's that now?
Yeah, that's in the hands of David Quantock, who lives not too far away from us. So he's taking his getting to grips with it. And it'll be good to see him out going well on the stages this weekend.
Yeah. So it's still in the neighbourhood, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. It's not far down the road, 10 minutes down the road, and it's looking sharp. They've got a new livery on it, so it's cool to see it out there and about.
Matt, tell us a wee bit about the car. You've had a short drive in it, as you mentioned. What's your impression?
Yeah, the first thing I noticed immediately was the suspension travel. Mount Maroa Forest is quite rough, and you could get away with a lot, and the car was just soaking up all the bumps and the rocks and all that stuff. So that, and then once we got that dialed in, started to notice the performance that the suspension helps. The braking was impressive, and it makes good power for a wee 1600 too.
Yeah. One of the things that's close to your heart, and I know it's close to Ross's heart, is talking about writing your own notes. Now, this is something you've been doing for a good few years now.
Yeah.
Finally, here at Otago, you get the chance to do a 2-pass recce. How valuable has that been for you?
Yeah, that's been massively valuable for us this weekend. We came into the weekend with some stages that we'd had in previous years, and having the 2-pass gave us the opportunity to effectively, our notes have evolved. There's much more detail, and they've changed and how we write them, so it allowed us to start again on a lot of stages that we would have persisted with, and to do that, that's massive for us. Now we've got a new library of notes, there's 2019 edition going forward, and it's really good to build the confidence.
Ross, these sort of roads, I guess they really lend themselves more than any other to having really good notes.
Oh, indeed they do. With so many crests, and corners just over crests, and how far over the crest, and how severe over the crest. There's a lot. There's probably more crests in this rally than all the other rallies put together. So if you're confident in riding them, you're confident you know where you're going to get a good result. It's certainly going to help keep you on the road and make you a bit more competitive. But there's a lot of other guys here. A couple of guys, Brendan Reeves from Australia, he's probably pretty well rehearsed, and it's going to be really interesting just to focus on that aspect of the game as well.
Matt, any of the people you'd like to, as you mentioned, a last minute entry for this car, people you'd like to shout out to that have made this possible for you?
Yeah, this weekend we're on some very good DMAC tyres, and Bruce Asher has been helpful in supplying them. And last minute, the guys like Good Street Dental, these are all local guys from home, and Kuri from Southern Lakes. These guys just, coming on, top engineering, just, you need some more, we'll make it happen. So, and Matt Wales and Andrew Sims, he's just been phenomenal about pulling all the strings and making it work.
So at this stage, one rally at a time, you're in this car this weekend, we'll figure out what happens after Otago, I guess.
Absolutely, just get this weekend out of the way, and then think about Whangarei after that, and we'll go from there.
Watch the space. Hey Matt, best of luck, thank you very much for joining us
this
afternoon.
Cheers,
Make the most of it.
Thanks, mate.
Enjoy it. See you later.
There we are, so Rally Otago, as you can see, getting underway here on the Octagon, as it does every year, and we are just waiting for our next guest to come forward to have a chat with us, and we'd like to welcome in Josh Marsden to come and join our live streaming coverage this afternoon. Welcome Josh, welcome back to Rally Otago.
Thank you very much, stoked to be here. The weather might not be quite that good, but it's still bloody exciting to get started this year.
The Holden Barina back in the car again this year. Any big changes from last year with the car?
Yeah, quite significant. We've been through the whole car, and it's been right back to a bare shell over the off season, and pretty much everything's been developed, and you have to keep pushing forward with development on these things to stay up there. So looking forward to getting out there and seeing how things go.
And you've had a good win. You won at home rally at Canterbury. You've had some good results, so the car's coming good, and you're getting better more confident with it?
Absolutely. Those 2 wins last year were absolutely great to get those, and love to have another one this year, so we'll keep pushing forward. We've got some great MRF tyres on board this year, and looking forward to it.
And double pass recce this time, has that been a big help for you?
Yeah, it is. It's good to see the roads for a second time, and it's actually quite interesting to see how your notes are, because usually we write on one pass, so to actually get to watch it, to be in the car to review it rather than watching it back on footage is another perspective, so it was really good.
Yeah, good to hear.
Just looking at your team, any major changes with your team personnel this year?
No, everyone stayed the same. RDL and Christchurch is still running the car, Andrew's still co-driving. Yeah, why change? It's awesome.
And what's your plan? How do you plan to go out and attack this event?
We're going to push pretty hard from the start. I like the roads down here. Ricky's gone really well and the car feels good, so we'll just see how we go. There's obviously some really, really good competition with Hayden and Brendan, and it won't be no surprise for them to be up ahead, but I'm really looking forward to having a good battle with the regular New Zealand guys.
Good luck, Josh, and thank you very much for joining us in the coverage this evening.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Keep dry, mate.
Yeah. So there we are. We are trying to keep dry and bring you all the action from the Octagon as it happens. Well, we've got a former New Zealand rally champion now, car owner, father of competing son and daughter. Rallying hasn't moved far from your family, Brian.
No, isn't it fantastic? I can't believe what we've got here for this year. It's fantastic. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Brian Stokes, for everyone who is tuning into the live streaming. Brian, a little bit about your career. What year did you win the national championship?
I won it twice, one in 1985 and one in 1988. Yeah.
In two different cars?
In two different cars, one in a VDA Escort and one in a Sierra. Yeah. And tried a few more times.
And of course, you two guys have been throwing gravel around for a few years back then as well.
You would have thought we would have learned by now, wouldn't you?
The old school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Brian, pretty exciting for you because just tell us a wee bit about the Ford Fiesta AP4 car that you built and how it's ended up here with Brendan this year.
Well, we started out, the original idea was to try and build an AP4 car for a price that we thought we could achieve, and I've got a fantastic team that works all together, and we went through that process and got it to go, and we were using the engine that was in the car when we bought it. It came out of a damaged car auction in Australia, and that engine didn't really prove to be successful, so we've now changed it to an 1800cc engine from Force Motorsport, so pretty much what Andrew Hooks would use to win the championship. And I think we've now got I reckon it's the definitive car, to be honest. It's the bread and butter, what everyone should have, and it's affordable, and really to go up the food chain really quickly. We decided, my family and that we'd get Brendan, who I think he's a real star, to help us develop it and make it go really fast, and then hopefully we'll get it back and it'll be just super quick. But it's such a pleasure to work with Brendo, and the contacts and the knowledge is fantastic. Yeah, excellent.
So when did you first approach Brendan, and how much time has he spent with the car?
Well, it was probably a few months ago. He's got some commitments with another manufacturer, so we sort of had to work with that. So it wasn't that long ago, but I mean the idea was probably hatched sort of 6 or 8 months ago, and I could have a go in it, but I get such a thrill out of working with my kids, obviously, to try and get way up the food chain. And I suppose the other thing that I really enjoyed watching the WRC and watching the real rally team owners that are ex-rally drivers like Malcolm Wilson and Tommy Mackinnon, the sheer passion of being, a team manager, and I'd like to think I can sort of do that a wee bit, and just get the real thrill out of letting someone else experience, what we've all done. Yeah.
And just coming to Robbie and Amy, your children, Robbie, they started off in the Toyota Live-In, and they've moved into a Ford Fiesta as well.
Yeah, well, we started out in a wee Live-In, and it was a good little car, but then we sort of thought we'd try and, obviously go up the food chain there pretty quickly, and I rang a friend of mine, Bryson, and he, within 20 minutes, rang back and says, "Well, I found you an R2 Fiesta," and we sold a few hay rakes and a couple of utes, and all of a sudden, we've actually got the car that got second overall in the WRC R2 Academy in 2012. Second only to Craig Breen's car, and that competition came down to the last stage of 6 World Championship rallies, and Breen won by 10 seconds, and he won €500,000 on that for that event. And look where he ended up, So and the M Sport package is just so good, It's everything's there. There's manuals on what you do the maintenance properly, set it up how they tell you, and just learn how to drive fast. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you've got a fantastic driver in Brendan Reeves. He's really in with a chance, and we wish you well for the weekend.
Yeah.
No doubt we'll catch up with you at some stage again.
Brilliant.
And thank you for helping us out.
Good
Brilliant.
stuff.
Thanks, Brian. All the best. Thank you very much. So there we are, more than the Stokes family enjoying Rally Otago, of course, with the Ford Fiestas and with the children as well. So, welcome. How's Rally Otago going for you guys?
Oh, Oh, not too bad so far. Recce wasn't too bad, but wet in places. But no, it'll be okay.
So you're pretty familiar with the roads down here?
Yeah, yes and no. Some of the stages we've done before, and we had a big crash in Kuri Bush last year. So hopefully we don't repeat that.
Was that on a famous corner?
It was, yes.
Was that Joe's corner?
Yeah, Joe happened to be standing there yelling out to me,
I think Marty
renaming the
Rossenberg's
corner.
been in there as well.
Yeah, Jeff Judd, there's a few others have been in there. Yeah.
Famous corner.
Yeah, so hopefully we won't repeat that. We're in an escort this year, so running the classics. So yeah,
Okay.
should be good.
You enjoy the escort?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, and just tell us a little bit about your preparation. Is the car pretty much the same as you've run it before?
No, so I'm leasing the car, so I've never run it.
Okay,
I've never driven a Mark II Escort,
Okay.
so this is a first for me, apart from a twee test last weekend. But the car's been built up. It's one of Regan Ross's, so was originally a Group 2 car, and now it's been converted to full Group 4. So it's got all the right bits in it. So we'll just see if we can make it, we can steer it in the right direction.
Good as gold. We'll be doing live Kuri Bush. We'll be looking forward to a good effort for you.
I'll be going slow as around there, I think.
We look forward to hearing all those BDAs out there.
Yeah, it should be good. So yeah,
Champion.
awesome.
Brilliant.
Thank
Well
you very
done.
much.
Thanks very much for talking to us. There we are, Darren Galbraith in a Ford Escort this
Andrew.
year. Now joining us on the live streaming coverage this afternoon, Andrew Hawkswood. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks very much.
Is this sort of out of retirement coming back to this one? Was it
Yeah,
going to
was
be a
bit.
retirement or?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be retired, but we were trying to do the qualifying for the APRC for China, so that's the reason why we're here.
Oh, okay, very good.
So but as soon as Jack's a bit quicker than I am, I'll hang my boots up for sure. I'm just here for moral support for him, really.
And Jack stepped up to the big game this year?
Yeah, he has. He's got the four-wheel drive car and 1600 turbo engine, so it'll be pretty interesting tomorrow to see how he's going.
Can you give us a little bit of history on, because you were one of the first people involved in getting these cars going, where did the inspiration come to go down this route, and how's it developed in the last couple of years?
Emma was the first one with the maxi car from Argentina, and we had a car similar, but we were having trouble trying to convince Mazda that that they should be involved in this. With the maxi car had a north-south facing engine, so we basically had to come up with a completely new design. So that's how we came up with the New Zealand design car, and it's just evolved from there. Hayden got into it, and there's we've built about 20 odd cars now. It's some in America and Australia and in Asia. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But it's still a long way to go. It'd be nice to have 40 cars out there, but certainly it's a labour of love. There's no money in it. That's for sure.
We know what that's all about.
And Andrew, just looking back over your career, give us a wee bit of a quick summary on where it started for you to get to this point.
About 90, 95, 96, I guess. It's just running around an Evo 3 with this fella. And he used to give me a good toweling up.
Those are fun days, good days, great days.
Yeah, and it took me a while to win a championship. I never really, I didn't do a lot of full championships. Probably only I've done it 6 times, I think, before I won it. I got a couple of seconds and a third, so it wasn't all bad, but took 20 years.
Better late than never.
Yeah, exactly.
And looking at the roads down here this year, Andrew, what are your thoughts? And double pass recce, has that been a benefit?
Oh, it's maybe a benefit for the younger guys, but I've been here enough times, and I'd rather be at work personally. There's stuff to do. It doesn't come for free, this stuff. I'd rather be making the money, but hey, we used to do it blind, didn't we, Ross?
Interesting days when you're doing these roads blind. I can tell you that the adrenaline rush was just amazing because you never really knew what was over the crest, so I had to guess a little bit. Sometimes it didn't come off as well as what you thought it was going to, and that all added to the mystery and the mystique.
Yeah, I remember seeing you upside down a few times.
Yeah, thanks.
And in the bar afterwards.
Consoling, I think they call it.
Any particular stages down here that are your favourites for you that you look forward to?
I actually prefer the roads down by Lawrence, but they're not really using any this year. Obviously, Kuri Bush is always a favourite, but I don't think Jack will take it easy in this year. He went rolled 7 times in there, and not last year, the year before, his debut. So I think he'll be taking it a bit easy.
Is that the same car that he's still got now? It's been rebuilt?
Yeah, it was rebuilt. It was it just had a sleeve put over the top of it. He actually rolled it 10 times on the weekend because he rolled 3 times on Saturday as well. So.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know anybody that's rolled 10
Is that just
times.
testing or practicing on how to roll? Or?
Well, I don't know, but I don't know anyone else that's rolled 10 times on a weekend. So.
Oh my gosh. At least you made it here.
Yeah.
Must have been a big effort. Well done.
It was good.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. Wish you
Andrew,
both the
good luck.
very best for the weekend.
Thanks very much.
There we are.
Jack as well.
And there were Andrew Hawkswood, Force Motorsport, in the Mazda AP4. All right, now we're bringing our next Tim Smith. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, good.
In the 1300. Now we're getting down to the real rally guys.
The proper class. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's going to be a good weekend, I think. Yeah, Marty Rostenberg and Steve Cox and myself. So, and there's a lot more others as well down there that are going to be very, very fast. So, even though we're in small cars, we're going to be pretty quick. So,
well, here's a man who knows a lot about small cars and 1300s. Of course, Ross dominated the 1300 class in Corollas. Back in the day, of course, fighting with one Ray Wilson, who's also entered in this event and will probably be the first of the classic cars on the road tomorrow. But it's a lot of fun in these smaller capacity cars.
Back in the day, the fantastic rules. I mean, the Group A class was just made everybody equal. We had all the same carburetor setup. We had all the same ratios and diffs and gearboxes. All the weights were similar. You had to run the glass and no fiberglass, and so all the original panels and that. And I think at one stage we had like 34 competitors in a national championship rally just for one class. And it was fantastic. Great camaraderie, a little bit like Formula First is and the roundies today. But it's great when you can keep your foot to the floor for as long as you can. And you have got some good competition with Marty and Steve. But I'm going to be keeping a good eye on you guys because I think it's probably the best class in some ways.
Tim, I saw your Facebook posting last night. So this was a bit of an unexpected entry.
Yeah, it was. After Westland, I won Westland in 1300. I won it over by about 4 minutes by Peter Murch, who did a fantastic job of trying to keep up, but I was too busy focusing on other cars. I went on Facebook and said, look, I'm struggling to get to. I'd like to have a go at Otago again after last year. We decided. All these people jumped on board and got some money together, and here we are. It's amazing, So, it was great partners like Magnum and stuff, and they all jumped on board and said, "Look, we'll get you Otago, and we'll have a go, have a crack." And so, it's really good. I'm very grateful for everyone that helped me get here, and hopefully I'll do them proud and hopefully get to the end. I'd like to think.
I'm sure you will, Tim. So you mentioned Magnum, of course. Anyone else you want to shout out to that's helped you get down here in particular?
All my family at home as well, mum and dad, and Tina Nichols, Amy Stokes. She actually gave us information. She didn't want me to tell anyone, but I'll let her know. And many other people. A lot of them didn't want to be mentioned, but hey, look, I'm extremely grateful, and definitely going to make them proud. I assure you, this is going to be very interesting.
I'm sure you will, Tim. And your rise in the sport has actually been quite quick. I mean, we've seen you come through in this class. Just tell us how you got involved with and we've got a bit your background of your career today.
My dad is actually Mark Smith, he's been working with Magnum for over 20 years now, and he helped Brian Stokes as well with the Group A Sierra Cosworths back in like 95, and also John Silcock in the 3D3 in about 91, 92. And I've just been following Dad all my life, and I've been in the service park, and it's excellent, and you're following him around, and then eventually one of my friends came across this starlet that was sitting up in Palmerston North, and he said, okay, righto, we'll go and have a look at it, and eventually we're like, okay, we'll buy it, and Dad bought it for me for my birthday, and we just kept building it. So, and then about 2 years after building it, we jumped into Hamden Rally and had a stab with Tony Johnson in the car. So, it's just been literally a flyby all the way. Really, it's been absolutely awesome. So, but it's been short. But hopefully we'll do a dent in all the in the classes. Magnum has got a lot of cars, and hopefully I can jump with them and hopefully develop. And it's going to be cool.
What are your plans for this year, Tim?
Plans this year is to do mainland rally series. Obviously in 1300, John O'Taylor in the K25 Hayabusa thing, he won mainland 1300 for about 4 years in a row, so I would like to be the first person to take that off him. I know there's a couple of people at home like Peter Murch that are really desperate to do that too, so trust me, this is going to be a very, very angry class for this year because Jono is he's going to be away for a couple of rounds, but he'll be back and he'll be on form when he gets back. It should be very cool. So yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, get out there and make the most of it while he's not then.
Oh, absolutely. Bloody oath.
Good on you, Tim. Congratulations and well done.
Thank
Well done
you.
for the event.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, there we are, Tim Smith and the 1300 Starlet. So nice to see that these guys are still competing and doing so well, and what a class that's brought so many rally drivers through over the years.
Seems to be a little bit of a current common theme with the younger generation coming through. Brian Stokes' kids doing it, and of course Jack Hawkswood, the son of of Andrew, and there we go, Mark Smith's son here as well doing it. So it's fantastic to see the next generation come through, and no doubt there's a lot of information being handed down by the old boys, and they're all around here as well. So it's a good family sport too.
Indeed. Well, the crowds are getting larger as we see everyone getting ready for the first car to go over the official start, and we'll just bring in Steve Cox and Laurie Brensel. Hello Steve, and welcome down to Rally Otago. Welcome to Laurie Brensel as well, someone who's well known to Mr. Meekings.
Yeah, I was on his team for about 8 years and worked with you, of course, in the management role, doing the sponsorship and marketing, and that was great days. Excellent.
So gentlemen, tell us how come you've ended up at Rally Otago. Give us the background.
Well, I decided about 3 years ago to get back into rallying after having not been rallying for 23 years, and so last year was a bit of a learning year. We took 2 years to build the car, so I built a little 1300 Starlet to compete in that and to do Silver Fern. So last year was all the North Island events including Silver Fern, and that was the thing, and this year was let's do the championship. So we've entered the national championship, and this is obviously the first round. So here, then back up to the North Island for Whangarei, back down for the Christchurch and South Canterbury, and back up for the other two in the North Island. So
have you had a shakedown on the car yet?
not here. We did a rally sprint about 3 weeks ago, and pretty happy with the car, so we've just left it. Looks like the shakedown conditions here were probably actually what we're going to face on the rally, but every event last year was in the wet, so we know how to drive the thing in the rain.
Very good. And of course, Steve, it's not only rallying that's in your background. You've done just about everything.
Yeah,
karting, circuit racing.
Karting, circuit racing. I've done a lot of racing over the years. So yes, I've been out of rallying, but I've certainly been in the seat and done a lot of time and tried my hand at a whole lot of different classes and things, and really just enjoyed life really on the way through. But the rallying bug never left. You know, it's always been biting at me, and it came back and bit pretty hard.
Very good. And you said you've done one Rally Otago before some time ago?
No, we worked out, we were talking to somebody earlier, it was actually an Invercargill rally we did all the years. So this is our first Rally Otago. So
you're a novice?
Very much a novice. Is there a novice prize? Because I'm probably going to get that one.
Good on you. And Laurie, how did the relationship here how did you manage to get in the co-driver's seat this time?
Oh, he was absolutely desperate, so he was looking for somebody old and experienced. No, we've known each other for years. I retired in 2005 from co-driving in the championship, decided enough was enough, and then get a phone call from Steve and wanted somebody with a bit of experience and we thought our personalities would work well in the car, and it does. We have a lot of fun. We're serious, but we have a lot of fun, so I'm really enjoying being back, and I'll just keep doing it until somebody says I've got dementia and I've got to stop. Yeah, we've been putting social media posts up constantly for about the last 6 months, and it's got most people in New Zealand, they wait for them eagerly. They're quite different.
Very good, very good.
Got to attract some attention somehow.
I just want to say these guys are the epitome of this classic rallying thing. A couple of old classic guys in a classic rally in a classic car. You can't get any better than that.
Well, if you add his age and my age in the car, it's 170 years. You do the maths.
He's the really old one, and I'm just a bit
I
younger.
am actually. Yeah, I admit I'm old. Yeah.
But
Zimmer
Laurie,
frames on the roof next.
Your co-driving experience, though, you've done a lot in administration and rallying, but you've also sat beside a number of people in New Zealand rallying.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of few years with Chris Ramsey and Cameron Bates for about 5 years, and then I was really lucky to have an opportunity to sit with Richard Mason for a while, both here in New Zealand and Australia, and that was really great until he decided he would rather have his wife sitting beside him. So, but there's been a few others, my son Todd Brensel and that, but it's great. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
And looking at the stages here, Stephen, Otago Rally this year, you've been out and you've checked out the stages. Have you picked out a few that you think might be more to your liking than others?
Everyone that's got lots of corners and not too many straights. Poor little car has only got a top speed of about 160k, so you get to Kuri Bush and you just look at it and go, yeah, no. But you get some of those forestry ones where it's just tight, where are we gone?
Yeah.
That's what we're really looking forward to, so yeah.
Look, thank you gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining our live streaming coverage and all the very best on your maiden Rally Otago.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, we'll see you out on the event.
Thank you.
It's actually my 7th one, actually.
Yeah, good on you. So Loie Brensel and Steve Cox, who will be in the 1300. Again, talking about the baby class cars that are part of Rally Otago. It takes everything from the AP4 cars through to the baby class cars to make this event and make up the 132 car field that's entered for what is a magnificent Drive South Rally of Otago. Yeah, yep. Right here. Welcome back to our coverage here in the Octagon of the Drive Safe Rally Otago, and joining us down here to have a bit of a chat about the event is someone who knows a lot about the history of the event and probably close to the organisation. David Thompson, journalist, welcome into our live streaming coverage.
Yeah, thanks Grant. Yeah, it's really good to be down here. I'm pretty excited. This is, to be honest, in the last 20 years perhaps the best field we've had in the national field.
Yeah.
So really excited and to see, I mean, we've got Mads in the classics, but really to see the quality of the national field. That's what I'm excited about at the moment.
Of course, David, you've been one of the top rally journalists for many years, writing about the events down here.
Yeah.
How many Rally Otagos have you written about?
Oh well, I can think back to the 80s, so the 1980s. Probably I saw the first ones in the 70s, so probably 25, 30 Otago rallies I've done. Yeah.
How have you seen this event evolve over the years?
Well, I think one of the things that I really like about the event is that the organisers are always really keen to try new things. So they're always pushing the boundaries with how they organise the event. So they were the guys that pioneered the reverse seating in the classics that we've got again this weekend, which compresses all of the action in one part of the field. They've always been keen to just try different things, move the rally around the region so we don't get stuck in the rut of the same stages every year. So what you'll notice is a few classic stages, Kuri Bush, which I was out on driving over today just for fun. But then every year there's new stages as well, so there's new challenges. And then moving to the two-pass recce this year has probably been their big innovation, yeah.
Indeed. And of course you're almost sport for choices of roads down here. You can alternate roads. And I guess one of the stages a lot of guys do like is Danzy's Pass, but I guess on a two-pass recce that became an impossible one for this year.
Yeah, so I mean Danzy's Pass is a fabulous road, but yeah, you've got a massive great loop to go over it twice. So that was really a casualty of the two-pass recce. But also I think it's a stage that's a bit prone to weather disruption. So probably playing it safe. But then some of the other stages I think are equally fantastic. I would say, I drove Kuri Bush again today. What a stage, that is a top stage by world standards, and the guys really love it.
Brilliant. And of course you did the evening last night. There must have been a few good stories that came out of the dinner. Have you got one for us?
Yeah, well, I guess Frank Kelly told us a few yarns about his start to the season, and he's done 2 rallies so far this season, both ended up off the road, and I believe he's got an identical car to Baby Blue back in Ireland, but it's in bits. It's a wreck in the shed at the moment, Grant.
Brilliant, David. Hey, look, thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to see you down here in Otago again, and good Southland man. Thank you, David.
Yeah,
Thanks
we'll
for
see you out on the stages, Grant. Excellent. Nice to see you too, mate. Okay.
Thank you very much, David. David Thompson, well-known journalist and also well-known for Rally Otago. Joining us now in our live streaming coverage, welcome, David Holder.
How are you? Good to see you.
Thank you, David. Now, look, we've been waiting to see what happened with that thing, with the blow-up on the roof. Give us the story.
Oh, yeah, to be honest, just went for a bit of a swim at the beach there. Not too much of a story. It's pretty cold, I'll give you that though. I had to don the Speedos for the sponsor, so it's not often you do that. But hey, it was good to do something with Stadium Finance, so it's good.
David, brilliant to see you back in the event. Of course, you were champion in
16.
16?
Yeah.
And what's been happening since then?
Oh, yeah, it's been a few years, isn't it?
Yeah.
17, we drove a couple of little guest appearances with Murph's car and Hayden's car, which was cool. And then last year we went over to the Junior World Rally Championship. So that was a pretty big learning experience and, amazing life experience as well. So good to be back here, and now we're kicking into the APRC and hopefully some other NZ rounds as well.
I guess when you want to do something like APRC, trying to find a vehicle can be a bit of an issue. So tell us how the Barina came about.
Yeah, look, it's a bit of a long, I suppose, relationship. A couple of years ago, Murph asked me to drive his car on behalf, and that was a great introduction. And we've since then sort of become friends, and he's a bit of a mentor. And then, off the back of that, I thought, first person I'll ask when APRC came up. So talked to Greg, and he was more than obliging with us, loaning. We're technically leasing it, but he's very generous towards us using it.
Quite a different car to what you competed in last time when you won the championship. How do you find the difference, and how have you found this AP4 car?
Tell you what, I got in it for some Ks last week, did about 30 kilometres of testing, and we're driving the wee Fiestas last year, and they handle really well, go around corners fast, but they've got no horsepower, so you get in this and you've got a heart attack for the first 5Ks. But it's nice to have that power up the hill, and it'll take a wee bit of adjustment for the first couple of stages. Yeah.
And of course, being an Asia Pacific event, 2-pass recce here for the first time, that must be great for guys who are doing your own notes like yourself.
Oh yeah, and we're still learning a lot in that department, so to come here and have 2-pass on some of the best roads in the world is pretty special. So hats off to Norm and the team and everyone that's involved getting that going.
And of course, Scotty and the H.W. Richardson team have been a big force behind making this happen, I guess, for you. Tell us about your sponsors and who you'd like to thank for getting here.
Yeah, so I guess HWR is the logical one. We've been partnered with them since last year, and we're representing Allied Petroleum this time around, one of their partner brands. Also, Stadium Finance, Stadium Cars that have been on board with us for a long time now. I think I've driven 40 of my rallies in his cars or something like that. So it's special to have everyone involved and spend with us.
Excellent. Looking at the stages here this weekend, which are the ones that you pick out that you think are the ones that are there ones that you look out that you think you can do a really good attack in, or ones that you like?
I think there's definitely ones I prefer. Waipori Gorge, it's just like the flow of that. I don't think I'll be having a good push in Kuri just because everyone's going to do that. So no, I'll pick some ones that just ultimately we want to have the pace throughout the weekend just consistently. So hopefully that comes together.
There's an event. This event has lots of traps in it, I guess. So getting to the end, of course, is vitally important. But it's a rally that can catch you, that can trap you.
I think any corner can catch you, can't it? But look, we've got some clear goals of what we want to achieve, and pace-wise, and coming back and doing New Zealand stages, you're only good as your last result, if that makes sense. So it'd be good to get back up there and prove we've got some goods.
David, what are your plans for this year, and how many events will you be doing in this car?
In this car, it's just the two, Otago and Whangarei. Obviously, China is the final for APRC, but that'll most likely be in a different car at this point, so jumping around things. We'd like to come out and do some events in NZRC as well. We've got the Mo Bros. Matt said that we can use his VR4, so we might even do a bit of a Group A appearance here, so we'll see how we go.
Brilliant. I think since the last time we spoke, you've had an addition to the family.
Yeah,
how's that going?
Yeah, so we've got a wee 8-week-old Jacob. He's actually on the front pack around here somewhere, but we've been doing a bit of travelling with him and bathing him in sinks and all sorts of stuff, so he's adjusting to new life and rally quite well.
So you're rocking him to sleep with pace notes tonight and getting that rally thing going?
I'll be honest, we've been pretty blessed. He's been pretty good on the sleep front, so we don't tell too many people.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's great to see you, David. Welcome back into the championship. It's given us another great driver here in the event, and wishing you all the well in this car.
Oh, thanks. It's very kind of you.
Go on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
David Holder, former champion from 2016, here in the Holden Barina AP4 car in Otago Rally.
Matt Adams there is another second generation.
We probably should do if we want to try and because what is the time? Oh, it is 6 o'clock. I know. It's just going on. It's surprising everyone's Okay, so do we want to do a bit of a wrap? Where we start tomorrow? So we start on
We start on stage 2.
Yep.
Stage 2. So stage 2, Berwick 1.
Berwick.
Well, the first car's getting not too far away from heading over the start ramp for the ceremonial start, which will be Hayden Patton in the AP4 Hyundai 120i, of course, defending champion down here at Rally Otago. Well, it's all shaping up to be a pretty good event.
I think the scene has been set for a fantastic event. There's lots of classes within classes. The classics are going to be amazing to hear all those BDA escorts revving their heads off. I think there's so many new four-wheel drive cars here. They're all presented to the max. They look beautiful. Of course, it's the first rally of the season and the National Championship. Great to see. There's going to be lots of action, lots of stories, and can't wait to bring it to you.
And our live coverage tomorrow starts at Berwick 1 around 8:30 in the morning. You'll find all the live streaming times up on the Facebook page on the posting. And of course, if you would like to assist us towards the expenses of covering the live streaming over the weekend, there is a GoFundMe page which will help us with some of the costs over the event, having had to reduce our sponsorship of the event. So check out the GoFundMe page, and we look forward to having you join in our live stream coverage. There's 8 stages over tomorrow, 7 stages on Sunday. Drive South, Rally Otago, about to get underway when the first car goes over the ceremonial start in a few minutes' time. From the Octagon here in Dunedin, on behalf of Ross Meekings and myself, thank you for joining our live coverage tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30 from Berwick 1.
Thanks, guys. Fantastic.